Hey friends! I'm back with another update. I am officially 7 weeks today, or I guess if you're going by my last menstrual period, if you're going by date of conception, I'll be 7 weeks tomorrow. According to the What to Expect app, baby is as big as a New Orleans firefly. Because obviously, if you know anything about me, you know that I'm using the Disney themed tracker. For you traditionalists, the baby is the size of a blueberry. This last week has been a doozy because since the last update, we took kiddo to the zoo with his cousins and it was a good time, sort of. You'll see all about that in a vlog, which came out a year ago, I guess. But you might have noticed that throughout these updates, if you look in the corners, I have been putting links to the vlogs that are happening present day for me, recording Desiree, so that you could see what all is happening in my life in correspondence, or in concurrence, I guess, to these updates. And I gotta tell you, it's been really hard to vlog lately because I feel like the biggest thing going on in my life is this, and I can't talk about it on the vlogs yet. So if you want to see what I was up to actually while I was recording these updates, keep your eyes peeled up here so you can see those vlogs. But we went to the zoo, we hung out with my sister, my brother-in-law, the nephews. It was a great time. And then 2 days later, we were told that my brother-in-law tested positive for COVID. And the following day, my sister tested positive for COVID. And it so happened that the day that we all hung out was the day when they would have been at their most contagious, like peak contagious. So all week long, I've been super stressed because today, Friday, is 5 days past exposure, which is when my brother-in-law started showing symptoms and tested positive, etc. Traditionally, statistically speaking, like this is when you know whether you're sick or not. Thereabouts, right? And luckily, knock on wood, we all tested this morning and everybody is still negative. It's not to say necessarily that we're out of the woods entirely yet, but it is definitely encouraging. So, huge relief. But the entire week has been really, really stressful because of it. Not just because I don't want to get sick, obviously, but because here I am pregnant with this literal miracle, and I don't know what having COVID in this current state is going to do to the baby. So I'm really hoping that our streak of luck continues and that when I test again tomorrow and even the day after and so on, we're in the clear. But that's happened. And then the other thing that's going on is on Wednesday evening, I got a Facebook ad or something. It's interesting because I have not posted anything anywhere yet that I'm pregnant. But I guess based on my search history on my phone or something, all of my Facebook ads, all of my Instagram ads, etc. are something pregnancy related, whether it's subscription boxes or baby clothes or just any number of things. One of the things that popped up on my Facebook was for a test called the Sneak Peek test. And it is a test that, to my understanding, basically takes some of your blood and searches for male hormone, like presence of male hormones in your blood as early as 6 weeks. So if it detects male hormones, then you know you're carrying at least one boy, because if you're carrying multiples, it could be both boys, it could be a boy and a girl, but you know that there's at least one boy present if it detects male hormones in your blood. And if it does not detect male hormones in your blood, then you know you're carrying a girl, because it's detecting your femaleness and the embryo's femaleness and the absence of male hormones. So I thought, that sounds like fun. I know that I could find out in like 3 weeks anyways, because we're probably going to end up doing the NIPT, which is another blood test that tests for chromosomal abnormalities, etc. But among those things they test for is the baby's sex. But I could just do it right now and not have to wait 3 weeks. So Wednesday evening, I ordered the test and I was not sure when it was going to arrive. I had no idea. Thursday afternoon, yesterday, it's at my doorstep. So I went ahead and I did the test. I did an entire video on the process, which you guys are going to be seeing probably next week. and I mailed it out, and it's actually meant to arrive at their lab today. So as early as this evening, I might know whether I'm carrying a boy or a girl. And that's very, very, very exciting. The test has a 99% accuracy, and they also have a money-back guarantee if it turns out they were wrong. However, the test is also extremely sensitive to the point that they tell you, disinfect everything that you're going to be near when you do the test. Don't even use paper towel to dry your hands because the paper towel might taint the results. If you have male pets, get them away from the area that you're using to like do the test, because even the male pet DNA could disrupt the situation. So it's obviously an extremely sensitive test. But yeah, we're like this. I barely slept last night just knowing that like, oh my gosh, today might be the day that I find out what we're having. And I almost like regret it now because right now it's still Schrodinger's baby. Like, is it a boy? Is it a girl? We don't know. It could be anything. But after today, we will know for sure. And like, that's just it. And it's just so heavy. It's so big of a thing to know so early. So I'm really excited, but also very, very anxious. Unfortunately, you guys are gonna have to wait until next week to find out what's what. But you've waited this long, right? So that's something that's happening. Something else that's going on is I went ahead and, since we weren't having any scans or any sort of like tracking, I suppose, this week we were meant to just wait. If you remember last week, a week ago today actually, I had my scan, which was traumatic because of the doctor and how he handled it. But he told me at that appointment, oh, I don't like how your HCG numbers are looking. We're going to track them again. And then at that same, like on a dime, he said, actually, they don't matter to me that much anymore because now we've seen the baby in the scan. But that kind of stayed with me. So I asked my OB if he was willing to do one more blood level this week just to make sure that everything was going great. So I went on Wednesday, and the very next day, which was yesterday, I got my result, and it was 32,326. So right on track, perfect actually, for the amount of days, weeks pregnant that I am. Perfect. And when I saw that number, not only did it give me a huge, huge amount of relief that everything is still working, growing perfectly, but it also made me realize what my husband has been saying all along, which is the IVF doctor might not know what the hell he's talking about, because, and I've maintained this from the beginning, I like him. I do like him. And every review I've read of him tells us that like he's a super overachiever, he's really good at what he does. If you want to get pregnant, this is your man. But once you are pregnant, it's almost like asking him to give you an eye exam. He's a doctor, but that's not his specialty. That's not what he's supposed to do. So I think that he's not used to dealing with people that are just pregnant. And so every time I talk to him, he implants doubts into my head. But the thing is that these doubts are not actual objective concerns we should be worried about. They're his doubts because he doesn't know what he's talking about. For lack of a better word, I hate to say it like that because I don't mean to disrespect him at all. He's been great, I think, so far. But with that being said, having experienced all I've experienced with him so far, I know that I don't want him talking to me about my baby again. I certainly don't want him performing our next scan, which is happening on Tuesday. After this Tuesday, we're graduating from the IVF clinic entirely. And actually a week from today, I'm seeing the high-risk maternal medicine specialist, because I may or may not have mentioned it in the last video, the last episode, but they were meant to see me after my OB, but because of some sort of scheduling something, now I'm actually going to see them before I see my OB. So I'm going to get a scan on Tuesday. And I imagine they would want to do a scan on Friday as well because it's a new doctor, but I don't want to do so many scans back to back like that. So I'm hoping that when I see my doctor on Tuesday, the IVF doctor, that I can just get the pictures or have them put the images on a disc or something so that I could bring that to the maternal medicine doctor and have them use that as a reference. Or maybe they want to schedule me for a scan later on, but I feel like 2 scans like that in the same week is too much. So that's all what's happening. As far as me and what I'm feeling, I am having bouts of morning sickness. Whoever called it morning sickness, by the way, was A, completely wrong, and B, a man. Has to have been a man because morning sickness lasts all day. As a matter of fact, I feel like in the morning is probably when I feel my best. And as the day goes on, I start to feel more and more ill. I'm also realizing that I have to eat frequently, even though the idea of eating is so icky to me. And something else that's going on that's really, really funny, my husband and I crack up about it constantly. I will get these intense cravings, particularly for something proteiny. My cravings seem to be protein-based for the most part. But I'll say to him, man, I really, really want a cheeseburger. And I want it with pickles, and I want it from this place, and it's going to be so good. And then I stop and think about what it would actually be like to eat that thing, and I get so absolutely disgusted at the very idea of eating anything, but especially that thing. Ugh, I just could not possibly. How could I have ever craved that? And this all happens in the span of like seconds between one thing to the next, where like suddenly it's the most delicious thing on earth, and at the very same time, ugh, how could I ever have wanted to eat that? Gross. So my husband's basically trying to convince me that, like, if you have a craving, just grab the thing and eat it. Like, stop thinking about it. Just grab the thing and eat it because you need to eat. But everything sounds disgusting to you. I've been gravitating a lot to like rice bowls of some sort. So like earlier this week, I was craving pork, barrigada in particular, which is basically like a really fatty, crunchy, roasted pork belly. So I made sure to get like a big portion of that from the local Cuban market, and it comes with rice and beans. And so what was meant to be a very large one-person portion, I ended up breaking up into 3 separate meals, but that was delicious. And then I also had, I've been like on an Asian food kick lately, so I've been eating like egg rolls and dumplings. My husband wanted pei wei last night, so I got pei wei. And pre-pregnancy, I would have slammed the entire bowl of pei wei and not even given it a second thought. I ended up eating from it again 3 times. I had the last of it for breakfast this morning because rice and chicken sounds good to me. Rice and blank sounds good to me lately. So that's basically been the base of what I've been eating. And then interestingly, I haven't been particularly craving fruit, but if fruit is around and I eat it, it's all tasting like the most incredible blank I've ever had in my life. Grapes, raspberries, bananas. My dad brought me cherries a couple days ago, and they were the best cherries I think I've ever had in my life. So either it's just that time of year and fruit is really, really good right now, or for whatever reason, my body just needs that fruit and it's tasting incredible. So it's not occurring to me that I want it, but once I have it, fire. So good. So I've been tired, but not like fatigued, not wiped out. Like the first couple weeks, I was wiped out. I feel like I'm a moderate level of tired these days. And I'm eating, again, more frequently, hopefully enough calories, but right now I'm just focusing on keeping myself not feeling ill. That's number one right now. But I'm sleeping all right with the exception of last night, because last night I was just so anxious about finding out the sex of the baby today that I really couldn't sleep. the cramping and like belly bloat, etc. I'm still bloated because that's normal, but the cramping has subsided almost entirely, which is nice. Yeah, generally I'm feeling really, really good. Not 100%, not all the time, but I think that the longer we go on and the more confirmation, I guess, that I get that everything is moving along as it should, the better I'm allowing myself to feel. Because the anxiety of the situation is obviously, it adds to all the physical stuff that I'm also going through. And the fact that I'm able to kind of squash the anxiety and just focus on the physical things is actually a huge, huge relief. So yeah, I wish I had more to share with you guys, but right now that's just what it is. The blood test should be arriving soon, and I hopefully will have those results later today. The next video you guys see will likely be the sneak peek test, and I will probably include the results in that video. So yeah, for now, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've been enjoying the series so far. I'm definitely enjoying making it, and yeah, thanks so much again for watching. Bye!